Cody, here's the thing, guys. In 2017, and I believe it was August, myself and Alex Jackson went on a nice trip to Minneapolis, Minnesota. We bought 50 leads, went up there, called them, sat with a bunch of families, and wrote, I believe it was almost like $48,000 in business in 36 hours.
Wow.
And like literally affected so many people's lives. And thus that trip that, why would you go anywhere else? Why would you do anything different?
True. Dude, this is some really good stuff. I want to jump back to, I'm going to come back to this 48K in 36 hours because that's like, holy freak. Hey, welcome back to the CA Power Players podcast. Today, my guest is someone that has 65 to 70 agents, has an agency that will do about 2.6 million in business in 2022, and is a part of Symmetry Financial Group. Please welcome from the Rustman Agency, Jim Rustman.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
Good. Good to be a part of here.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to have you up. We've got to know each other quite a bit the last several months. And dude, what I love about you and why you are in for a treat today when you're hanging out and listening today, okay, is Jim will not brag on himself, right? He's a super humble dude, but he also will tell you what you need to hear, right? Like what I respect about Jim is the dude is honest, he's transparent, he's direct, but I think the world needs more of that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I agree with it. I think, just from my background, just the way I came into Symmetry and came into the insurance world was, it's not about the hand holding. It's about you doing the work that makes the difference.
Yes. So when you say background, walk us through your background, man. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Sure. So I grew up near Chicago, Illinois. I was there for, I don't know, a long period of time until I was like 20 years old. I moved down to Central Illinois, went to college at Western Illinois University.
Nice.
Got a degree in law enforcement, and then, I met my wife and stuff at college, and I thought law enforcement was, my ticket to wealth.
What made you think that? Hang on. What made you think that?
I mean, I thought, making $70,000, $80,000 was really good money back then.
Yep.
My dad died very young. We owned a successful business, family-owned business for about 156 years in Chicago, and he passed at the age of 42. And and here's a funny thing is that, my father had life insurance, had a lot of it, and so I saw what life insurance actually did for people. And I was like, well, maybe I can do that. But then I the whole wanting to be a cop and, doing all that stuff, what was like entertaining. So, that's really what I thought my life would be like. And then, 2017 happened and I needed something different.
Yeah. So I want to, you mentioned a few things I want to highlight real quick and kind of walk through. You talked about law enforcement. You talked about a family-owned business. You talked about your dad passing away when he was 42. How old were you when that happened?
I was 20.
20?
Yep.
My dad's dad passed when he was 5. And so he always talks about that and just, how he got into some trouble and, he had to kind of grow up and learn. What kind of business was your family in?
So we were in the ice business, packaged ice.
Packaged ice. What did you learn from growing up in that world?
My dad was gone all the time. And I knew hard work brought big money. And I knew, I wanted to be kind of the opposite when I came into this insurance world. I wanted to be home because in my prior career, I was never really home. I'd get forced over at the clock, or I'd, have to stay over longer. 60, 70 hour weeks. And then, the income was, was crap, be honest with you, in the law enforcement sector. So
Yep. Not to mention, it's just man, it's dangerous. It's it's freaking tough nowadays. Like I got so much respect for people that do that. And you probably got into it thinking, you know what, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life till I retire.
yeah.
What did you, before I jump into law enforcement though, what was the biggest thing? You look back at your father, right? You grew up, and he was traveling a lot, packaging ice, family owned business for a long time. What's the biggest thing you learned that maybe you still use in your business today with what you do now that you take from him?
Every client, every store that he had, he was honest with them. He was very transparent, and he, basically just said it how it should be. And
Yep.
I think I learned that big concept, and then also just, the life of owning a business is a struggle, and there are ups and downs, but you have to put the work in to make this happen.
Amen. So true, man. So true. Yeah. It seems like you've definitely inherited a lot of the like honest, transparent directness, from him, that people need to. Like people on your team probably don't always love it, but they respect it, and there's just a lot of places that are just like, hey dude, you're, and there's one thing to be positive, but like, there's no reason to tell them they're doing an amazing job if they're, flipping, sitting in the pool at 1 o'clock on a Thursday, like,
Right.
There's no reason to be like, you know what, you're doing amazing, Jimmy. Keep it up.
Not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about okay. So the transition did you go straight from law enforcement into insurance?
So I dabbled in for 1 month into selling phone books.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? How'd you do that?
Terrible.
How do you sell phone books? What do you do?
It was the ads in the phone books was what it was.
Okay.
Training, and
was it good training? Was the training any good?
No, it's terrible. And they made it sound like you can make a lot of money and then you go out and really cold door knock. Business.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
B2B businesses, obviously. Yeah. What was the pitch to get someone to put an ad in the phone book back then?
Geez. I don't know. You brought them this sheet and they're like, hey, you were in the phone book last year. Would you like to be in the phone book again? Like,
I love it. That's awesome.
But that's why it only lasted 1 month.
Yes. Okay. So law enforcement, sold ads in the phone book, lasted a month, and then insurance. Why insurance? What led you to insurance?
I think one of those things like realizing, just thinking about my dad and thinking about like what life would be like if he was here, and realizing that insurance agent, what he did for our family. I think I can make an impact with somebody. And here's kind of a funny thing. So I interviewed with multiple insurance companies. One was AXA, one was Mass Mutual, one was Country Financial. And I went to a Country Financial interview, and I sat with the vice president and of the region, and he said to me, and this is kind of funny, but he's Alex's father-in-law, and he said to me, hey Jim, has anybody ever told you this? He's like, you have like a multi-million-dollar story, and I don't think you really understand. You do. And I said, no, not really. He said, think about it. Your dad died young. He had life insurance, and he gave you and gave you this opportunity to really do what he wanted. And you have that story. You can impact so many people with that life, and just telling people what that does. So from there, it was like, okay, like I can do that.
Wow. So,
I'm
getting goosebumps too as you're saying that. Like, he's right, man. You know what I mean? And you make phenomenal money today, and you
Mhm.
continue to make more and more, right? I mean, so he was totally accurate.
Right.
Smart dude. So you jump into insurance. What did you sell life insurance right out of the gate? Did you sell something else?
No, I came right into life insurance.
Nice. Okay. Jumped right into life. And what
Mhm.
was your first like month like? Like what remember
Oh, it
like
was so fun. It was so awesome.
yeah?
No, it was terrible.
Okay. I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, like, they say, oh yeah, go out and make a mess and do what you want, and and don't follow a system. Yeah, that's terrible. So, um,
Is that good advice? Just by the way, don't follow a system. Just do whatever you want.
you have to follow a system.
Totally.
Jeez, 100%. And here's a downfall. Like, I was never on conference calls. I was never transparent enough with my upline. I was never, not calling her enough. And I booked, I think it was like 26 appointments. Went to about 20 of them. Never sold one thing.
Mm,
Yeah, never. And then I could always talk about it, but I could never close it. And using that system that we've been told. And so my upline finally had a conversation with me, and she said, hey, you're not out on these calls. You're not calling me. You're
yeah.
not doing the things that this system tells you to do.
Mm.
Either you're going to have to ship out or get on the train,
Wow.
and about a few days later, I sat in a home, called from the home, and it was a $3,800 sale.
That's good.
And I was like, wow, that's more money than I've made in a long time.
Yeah.
And then that was the hook. And then every day, constantly calling my upline. I still call her every day, and really focusing on what I wanted, and hitting the $20,000 threshold in the insurance world
Yes.
in a month, and then 30,000, and then 40. I think 44,000 was my biggest month, and and that's the crazy thing is that it's all by a system.
Yep.
And all by following that system, and Cody, here's the thing, guys. In 2017, and I believe it was August, myself and Alex Jackson went on a nice trip to Minneapolis, Minnesota. We bought 50 leads, went up there, called them, sat with a bunch of families, and wrote, I believe it was almost like $48,000 in business in 36 hours.
Wow.
And like literally affected so many people's lives, and thus that trip that, why would you go anywhere else? Why would you do anything different?
True.
So
yeah, dude, this is some really good stuff. I want to jump back to, I'm going to come back to this 48K in 36 hours, because that's like, holy freak. And your 44K biggest month.
Mhm.
Before that, originally you weren't getting on calls.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Because my ego was too big, and I thought I could already do it myself.
I'm hoping somebody else hears this that can learn from this, man, because there's so many people like that. They're like, I got this thing. I can figure it out.
Mhm.
It's like, no, dude, like, why would you not seek help from somebody that's doing well?
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, and that's the struggle, I guess, is because people's egos are too big, and they don't want to put them in a closet. But if you put it in the closet and you let those people help you, that ego is just going to get bigger, and your business is going to get bigger.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, so true. Well, what advice would you give to somebody that's like, what? I think I know everything, man. Like, I think I've got it figured out. I've been in this thing 6 months, and I kind of want to just do my own thing.
You don't know it. You don't know anything about insurance. You don't know anything about a business. You don't know anything about, what is stability, and what really, you need to focus on, like, the task at hand.
Yeah.
I want to make a lot of money if that's what you want to do, or I want to have a lot of time if that's what you want to do. Like, and those two can go hand in hand with each other, except, you're a baby. You're still an infant,
True.
and I still don't know everything. I reach out to so many other mentors in this insurance world that it's just making me better.
That's right. Yep. Continues to make us all better by doing that too. The 44K biggest month, what month was that?
It was in July of 2019.
Okay. And when did you start?
April of 2017.
Nice. April 2017. Was the 48K and 30?
Or was July of 2018. Either one of those. Either one.
Yeah, the 48K in 36 hours with you and Alex. That was August of 2017?
August of 2017.
So you had only been in the business like 4 months?
Yep.
Wow. What was special about that trip? Like kind of take us back on memory lane about that trip. Why was it so successful? You also got out of your space, right? You went somewhere. Why'd you do that? And how did it go?
We were asked to by another mentor. We were asked to get these leads because they were half price, and Minneapolis is 7 hours from me, and I was like, yeah, why not drive? I told my wife this is what's going to happen, and I think it was because I've always in those months leading up, I was still the top producer, one of the top guys on the leaderboard, all that stuff, and I had faith, and I wanted to bring Alex because I wanted Alex to see what this does for people, because he was still on that fence of should I come doing this or should I not, and I think after that, dialing leads and sitting with a bunch of families and maybe getting told no, but him helping me sell product because he's still an insurance agent, and just mixing all that up was one of those things of how we have a good connection today. It was like the start of our we've been friends for a long time, but I think it was just that start of like, oh man, this is a huge possibility.
Yeah. And you were in how many sales was that? Like, break that down. What is that? Like 48,000. What did you sell? What was it?
That was I believe we sat with like 22 families and sold 18. So we sold, and it's, but it was all done in that short period of time because it was back to back to back to back.
Yes.
And it's funny because in 2018, my personal production from 2017, and I was only in the business 8 months at that time, was 118,000. 2018 rolls around, it's 280,000. Coming from a guy who used to make $46,000 a year.
Wow. That's wild. What did you think when you first hit six figures in 8 months?
I was like, this is dumb. It's like so easy.
Is this legal?
So easy and simple, because all you have to literally do in this business is pick a phone up. Back in the day, we drove. My leads were 3 or 4 hours away sometimes. Drive and sit and just be you.
Yeah. And read a script.
Right.
Like they tell you what to say. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, unless you don't, you go 0 for 20 and don't listen, but
there you go.
Right. Which people still do.
That does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is mind blowing. But dude, why is it that we innately want to like figure it out on our own?
I think it's because, like you're in school, right? Mm-hmm. And the teacher is telling you every day what to do, and telling you, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, and blah blah blah. But then when in this business, a lot of people don't have teachers. A lot of people have those ones where they get thrown against the wall, and they're like, go find out and go do it yourself. Good luck.
Yep.
And it's very interesting when you do have the training and when you do have that stuff that really engulfs those agents, what it does for them.
Yes.
Because it is crazy, we didn't have anything like that. Now, I mean, there's training everywhere, but it's like, your podcast, not only that, I mean, there's a ton of other people out there that are doing the same thing, but it's just like, it now shows so much what the insurance industry can possibly do for somebody, and it's like, I tell it like this, you saw 2019, 2020, we're growing a huge organization. Pandemic happens, man, we're still selling insurance. I'm still doing way over six figures, and my biggest year here at Symmetry is 368,000. Just on my own dime.
It's crazy.
So it's possible for anybody to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be for real.
Right. What year does Jim Rustman hit seven figures, you think? If you had to forecast it out.
I would say 2025.
Okay.
A couple of years.
Yeah, man. Only a couple of years away. That's pretty special. And to go from brand new in 17, then you're looking at, 8 years later, you make $1 million, you're on pace to make $1 million. Like, who wouldn't sign up for that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
I mean, I guess it did take you 8 years,
right.
It's terrible. It took so long.
Right. Yeah. It's horrible. But here's like the other thing is I'm grateful, because if I didn't make that one, ZipRecruiter like connection, or that, that one talk that I spent time with, I don't know what I would be doing, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't have this conversation with you, but also on the other hand, I wouldn't have affected so many other people's lives.
Correct.
Like, just by following something so simple.
Yes.
Has affected hundreds of other people.
So yeah. And it does trickle down, because you chose to put your ego aside, follow a system, work, and help people. It's going to help thousands of others because of that,
Right.
Tens of thousands potentially, maybe even hundreds of thousands, when you look at like the ripple effect of agents helping consumers, and you know what I mean? It's
Right.
wild. Yeah. It's nuts. What advice would you give to an agent out there that hasn't found a system?
Sure. I would say if you're struggling with, being that person getting thrown against the wall and I hope you stick type mentality, there's a ton of opportunity to be in a place where you have training, you have successful people, you're around successful people, that you need to make that shift in your mind, that even if you're only making X dollar, your potential is more than that, and your worth is more than that. I think, even if your worth is, even if you're making a ton of money right now and you're just like spinning circles, there's always an avenue out there where you want to build, or you want to do something that's better. I mean, there is a ton of opportunity.
Yes. There's so much. It's unbelievable. Well, Jim, you've been phenomenal today, buddy. If they want to reach out, talk to you, learn from you, connect with you, ask questions of you, where should they go to learn more about you?
Sure. So you can either call me or text me. Number is 815-307-2779. You can hit up our website at rustmanagency.com and book an interview, and or you can come on our calls anytime. My email is rustmangroup@gmail.com.
Boom. I love it. Jim, you're awesome. Thank you for being on and a part of today's podcast. Thank you for sharing. You're a good dude, man. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Buddy. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out on the podcast again, the interview. Jim is helping agents all over the country. Thanks for listening. Check out Jim and what he's doing, and we'll see you on the next interview. Have a great day.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
Hey, welcome back for another special interview and podcast, man. This is not just another one. This is a special with my buddy from St. Augustine, Florida, the one, the only, Kyle Musilak. What's up, Kyle?
Not much, man. Good to be here. Good to see you again, Cody.
Yeah.